Oh, gosh, I was blessed. I grew up in a family where my parents are still 63 years married this year.
Wow.
Um, uh, I grew up in a family where I've never seen my dad, man, I've never seen him cuss or be drunk. Um, I grew up in a family where I knew I was loved. I
Yeah.
knew I was loved.
Hmm.
We learned to work hard, and we learned how to have fun while we did it.
Mm.
Um, we learned the value of just you're part of a family. It's not about you, it's about us.
Yeah.
Um,
Strong Dads wants to thank Quality Auto Mart for joining us as a sponsor. Quality Auto Mart was born in 1985. They are owned and operated by Mark and Nancy Repke. Quality Auto Mart provides all the services, repairs, and maintenance for your vehicle's needs with a 3-year auto parts and labor warranty. They offer complimentary vehicle safety inspection and estimates. Also, they offer a shuttle service, and the fourth oil change is always on them. They are located at 7307 on State Road 46 in Batesville, Indiana. Make sure you give them a call at 812-934-2301.
All right. Welcome to Strong Dads Doing Real Life. We want to welcome Tim Schrank to the Strong Dads podcast. Tim, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Good
All
morning,
right.
everyone.
So we are out in the workplace of Integrity Tool. And Tim, you are the owner and operator, I'm assuming, right?
I'm blessed to have that chair.
To take care of Integrity Tool. And Tim's just given us a little glimpse of what they do, and it is amazing. You're such a one-off sort of like, who comes up with this stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we do. It's all one-off stuff, custom design to the customer's needs.
Okay. So right now, we're just in front of the sign, but can you take us out into the shop and show us like just what is some of the equipment and what you guys do with that and how that operates?
Sure thing.
All
We'll sneak through design through our lab. And
Okay. Yeah. Show us the way. All right. So this is your lab.
So this is a lab. Stays 68 degrees in here all the time.
Oh.
Part of the accreditation. Just to give you a real rough idea, this is a cool picture. Talks about what we do here, kind of the relevance. So if that tiny little dot at the end of the circle is a micron,
Can you see that? Okay.
and this is 5 microns, and that circle's 10 microns, we would work in a world somewhere between those two every day. And to put that in relevance, the big circle would be a human hair.
Oh my
So
gosh.
people say, "Oh, you're just splitting hairs." We'd say, "Yeah, like 50 or 100 times."
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for showing us that. So this is your lab to test to see if you're actually doing what you just said.
Yeah, this would be a very expensive 3-dimensional tape measure. And I'm not even going to try to run it right now, but basically it measures in 3 dimensions. Basically anything that size, you can measure it to those tight tolerances that we were looking at there.
Wow. So that would be then the idea would be getting, does it sort of reverse engineer things then to show you, okay, these are what the dimensions of, then maybe I'm thinking like 3D printing.
Yeah, you could do some reverse engineering, but for us, typically, our world is building gauges and inspection fixtures that people are using to measure the stuff they're making.
Gotcha.
Okay. So there's a calibration. They need to know, okay, you made it, but is it really what you say it is?
Okay.
So we bring it in here and we can certify that. And the lab's got an accreditation that says, okay, if you measured it in here, then it is what you say it is.
So I'm assuming we talked a little bit, and without giving any of the names, but you work in the automotive.
Yeah, we'd have customers. Our website would show them. Our products support Boeing and Airbus and the military and almost every car manufacturer, and then all kinds of odds and ends.
Yeah, and it could just be one little piece that they're putting into an engine or on a brake or something like that.
Correct.
That they want to make sure it's within those tolerances to do its job.
We'll see some parts out here in the shop.
That's cool. All right, let's roll.
So if there was there's nothing typical about what we do, but like this is a component that our customer is mass producing, which is a strut housing, goes on an electric vehicle for a Chevrolet pickup truck.
Yeah, already into the electric world, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
And so they're mass producing this. They come and they say, hey, we need to inspect this. We need to know that all this shape is correct. And so we build a fixture, if you will, that the part's going to sit on here. If I do it right.
So you have to build that just to fit that piece of equipment.
Just to check that.
That tool, yeah.
So
Wow.
this is the right hand part, and then this is the left hand fixture behind you.
Okay.
So you got to right.
Oh, I got you. Got you. How long does it take just to set up a tool to do all that?
So
I mean,
we probably been working on this 2.5, 3 months.
oh my gosh. Yeah.
But it'll get used continually, day in and day out. So it shows all the measured points that are being taken.
Yeah.
Just gives the operator a real quick, am I good or am I bad?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you come up with something, well, are you assuming that this piece is perfect already and you're setting the standard on it? Or could this
No.
piece be not perfect and you're going to help correct it?
We wouldn't actually correct it.
Okay.
We would just identify, is it good or is it bad?
Gotcha.
And if it's bad, it would show you which point's bad and how much it's out of spec.
Okay. I
But
got
you
you.
wouldn't fix it on here.
Right, right. But you would show them what they need to do to fix it,
Yes,
as far as tolerances and measurement.
correct.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it looks like a regular shop. It's cleaner than most shops I've been in.
But
But
thanks.
now you got some pretty crazy looking stuff here.
So these machines would be what's called a wire again machine. Pretty typical in machine world where you're cutting steel with a brass wire that's 10 thousandths thick, which is really kind of amazing to think about
I
it.
don't even know how that works. So it's not a laser.
No, it's not a laser.
Let's take a look at this.
So what it's trying to do right now is it's trying to feed a piece of wire. You can see it's all turning down through the head, through the workpiece, and out the bottom. So once it's going to start running here now, and it's actually, I don't know if it's cutting yet.
Now, what is it cutting? Can I see what it's cutting?
So this is like an example of a piece that we cut last
Oh,
night.
wow.
So it was just a square piece of metal,
Gotcha.
and the wire just follows that zigzag shape.
And so does that wire go back and forth? How does it actually cut?
So the wire, you can hear it right now. The wire's passing through there. It's putting an electrical charge
Yeah.
in the wire, and that electrical charge is eroding the material away.
That is cool.
And as it erodes it, it just cuts the path. And
So it's not like a laser.
no,
Are you heating the metal at all to do that?
so it's actually
in the water.
It's in the water to keep it cool. Right where it's cutting, it's actually melting the metal.
Gotcha.
So it's heated, but very
Very compact and
very,
to the point. Yeah.
right in that specific location.
That is cool.
So whatever pattern you program is
Mhm.
what it has the ability to cut.
Yeah. So that looks then like, would that be almost like a gear would roll through that or something like that?
That's a really good idea, Merrill, but no, that's not what that is.
Yeah. Because that would be very tight for some sort of gear to run through
Very
that.
tight version.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a customer that makes a product that's zigzag like that,
Yeah.
and they wanted something where they could lay that product out and make sure that they have the right spacing
Wow.
as they're forming it up.
So it's basically a template to
Mhm.
measure or to
Yep.
make sure that's right. That's cool.
Yep.
That is cool. All right. Well, I'm sure that was a cheap piece of equipment too.
Yeah, everything's cheap nowadays.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Everything's cheap. Almost every piece of equipment in the shop is attached to the computer system, to the server, which is attached to the design department. So the models that are created in there are brought out here where they're programmed so that we can run them on the machines then.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's all CNC equipment.
So how many CNCs do you have in here?
Well, like that's CNC. Those two would be CNC. That's CNC. These would be CNC. It'd be an
Wow.
easier question to say what's
What's
not.
not, yeah.
So this old thing here, yeah.
We call that a drill press. I know what that is.
Yeah.
And I've seen these before.
Yeah,
right?
not CNC. But these would be back here. Nothing running right now, Jason? No.
Okay, go ahead.
So this would be a 5-axis machining center, which allows you to put a piece in a vise, and instead of just moving in 3 axes, it actually has 2 other axes which swing this way
Okay.
and rotate this way.
Right.
So it allows you to do lots of complex shapes.
Yeah.
Or allows you to work on a block and put holes in this face and this face and this face.
All at the same time,
all
essentially.
in one setup.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
All right. So are these blocks of aluminum?
blocks of aluminum. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen just a flat out block of aluminum.
So is this, Jason, is this the blocks that you're cutting there?
Yeah. I'm just going to simulate that.
So we start with this.
Can I pick that up? I just want to see.
Are you able?
Oh,
You want another one?
no, I'm good. So I'm going to guess 15 pounds or something like that. Something in that
Okay. Yeah.
ballpark. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So we start with basically raw square stuff.
Okay.
So, I mean, this would have started as a piece of aluminum that looked like that.
All right.
We would have actually held it from the backside here, but it just carves it all away.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have no idea what that piece is that you're showing me, but I like how it looks.
So the bad news is because it's here, it's a piece of scrap.
Oh,
We did something wrong.
We screwed up.
We
All right.
screwed up.
So even you got to screw up. That's
Yeah,
cool.
even we screw up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's a part of a fixture that was checking an exhaust component.
Okay.
Yep.
Really neat, man. Good stuff. All right. We got anything else?
So that piece would end up looking. It's just kind of a.
This is the final result.
That's the final. That's what it's going to look like.
That's
when
what
it's
that's going
done.
to turn into.
So we're going to take a lot of aluminum out of it.
How long will that take to do that milling?
I have probably 6 hours in just programming it right now.
Wow.
I'm just about done. And this is a software that can simulate the motion of the machine actually cutting it.
Okay.
So
So yeah, you're getting to see what that machine's going to be doing.
correct.
Yeah.
All right. So a little side note. What are you trained in to be able to do this? Did you just learn it on job, on site, or did you?
I went to college. I went to Vincennes
Okay.
University, and they have a really good program, advanced manufacturing program.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I learned the software side of things.
Okay.
But then that's where it started. But really, just doing it here is where I
Really got
honed
proficient.
in, yeah.
Thank you. That's good stuff.
It'd probably be true. When you say Jason, it'd be a rare find to find somebody who would just walk in here and go, "Oh, I can do that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if they had the college degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even experience someplace else.
Yeah.
Everybody does it a little differently. You got different software.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of on-the-job training.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
cool.
All right. Where to next? Or are we wrapping up?
We can walk back here in our. Again, these are just so that was one example of a fixture. This particular little fixture here is just used to check a piece that goes on the axle on a Toyota truck.
How are these blocks mounted to this base? I don't see many holes.
I'm sure there's screws in there from the bottom.
So there are some. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So this becomes kind of your home station that you move these pieces around on,
Mhm.
adjust them to where you need it, and then you clamp it down.
Yep.
From there.
Let's check from there. Little handheld things that we do.
Yeah.
So it just really varies. Again, everything's one off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have our
Now we're going a little bit more old school.
a little bit more old school, yeah. And there's really no CNC equipment back here. This would be our precision grinding. So it's either surface grinders or OD grinders or a jig grinder back here in the corner, kind of a real old school. That's almost as old as you and I, Merrill. Almost.
Wow.
And what's amazing is even today, that thing would be accurate within about 50 millionths.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Pretty neat.
but yeah, kind of a standard shop. Just we had some value in being able to design products. We had value in being able to calibrate and certify them when they're done.
Mm-hmm. And so, is your business thriving and growing with all the manufacturing that's going on, or is this just a tough thing for you guys to keep rolling? Like, how does this industry look for you as the future comes?
We're optimistic. We actually had a strategic planning session yesterday and plan to basically triple the size of our business in the next 3 years.
Wow. Okay.
So
That says something,
that
doesn't it?
says something.
Yeah. Will you do it all out of this facility?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
So get your eyes set on some other things.
It's really easy to find yourself trapped looking at all the things that are going on in the world, inflation and the economy and this and that. And whenever you're looking at that, you're not focused on what the possibilities are.
The day-to-day can keep you from the dream.
So having a goal opens up those questions of what if.
Yeah.
If I had to do it, if we want to grow, what do we have to do?
Yeah. All
And
right.
stop looking here and start looking up there.
Yeah. Good point.
So
Well, hey, we're Strong Dads doing real life, and the big part of Strong Dads is the idea that all of us go out and do something for a living, right? We all produce and serve in some way. But as Strong Dads, we bring Christ into the mix.
Yep.
And so how about, if it's okay with you, we go sit down and let's talk about what Christ has to do with Integrity Tool.
let's do it.
All right. Tim, all right. Well, I just want to thank you, man. That shop is amazing.
That's pretty legit.
What you do is just really cool. Let me ask you first, because this was in my head. How did you even get into the type of design and work and engineering and stuff that you do? How did that come to be?
Well, I'm pretty sure I grew up on a farm, and my dad's just a tinkerer. I mean, we just grew up taking motors apart, fixing stuff. This isn't working. How do we make it work?
Okay.
This CPSC equipment broke. We can't go get parts. We need to get it running now. How do we do that?
Yeah.
So we grew up doing that.
Okay.
Even though we got a big farm, I never grew up hunting and fishing. I grew up with a wrench in my hand.
Tinkering.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was probably the start. Although probably before that, God probably said, hey, I'm going to give that guy a gifting
Yeah.
to do this kind of work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because we all have those, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll say on a side note, you helped me on a particular drawing that I needed.
Oh, yeah.
And I was clueless on, like, I got to get this thing drawn. It was for a patent that I was working on. And I showed it to several guys, and they were like, well, it'll take me a while to do this. And I literally came out and I said, hey, Tim. And before I left, you called me on the way home and said, hey, I got that done for you. You ready? I mean, it wasn't even 20 minutes. And it was like, wow, when you know what you're doing.
Or you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's just, so there is a gift there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think you and your wife helped me and my wife.
Yeah.
Probably didn't take 20 minutes, but
Well,
there's a gift there.
and I do think that that's a big part of this, right? We all are gifted in a way that's unique and different, and it's trying to find that and discover that as a man. Say, okay, so now how do I use it to serve? And so,
and sometimes you have to go through that process of finding out what you're not good at. Like technology.
Yeah. That was a pre-recorded comment right there.
Well, hey Tim, I want to switch gears just a little bit. So as we're walking around your shop, you obviously have employees that work for you, right? Can you speak into a little bit on leading and kind of what that looks like? You're leading, you have employees that you oversee. What does that look like for you a day in and day out? Just kind of what approach you take to leading the people that work for you?
Wow, that's a big question.
Because leading is something that like I want to be better at, right? I'm trying to get into a position where I work at with leading, and so I'm always looking for cool little sayings, right? Things that kind of like make your mind turn and kind of like question how you're leading. So I'm just always intrigued on how people are leading in different ways that you find success in that.
So I think it comes back to how you think. Leading is all about how you're thinking. If you're not leading, you're probably not thinking. You have to. I'm an avid reader. I know not everybody likes to read, if you want to lead, I just tell you, suck it up and learn to like it. You know, somewhere you have to get something in your head
that makes you think.
Yeah.
Opens up your mind.
Just being able to see things from a different perspective. So yeah, I start my day reading every morning. So
that's a good point right there.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, there's so many avenues around reading. I used to say I'm not much of a reader either. I read for a point,
Sure.
to get. But now audiobooks and all these things is like, now I'm pouring through books like crazy because I'm still getting something to prompt a different thinking pattern, a different mindset.
A podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily this one with me, but another one.
No.
We learn from other people, right?
Yeah.
So you either learn by being with those people, or you learn by learning about them or hearing from them through a book or a podcast or an audio.
Yeah.
And that just opens up ideas, opens up your mind. You use the word employees. I would never use the word employee here.
Okay.
We're all team members.
Yeah. Okay.
We're
Yeah.
all on a team. It's not, there is a hierarchy in the business, but when it comes down to it, we all have to be willing to do whatever needs to be done to succeed.
And that's an intentional point that you've kind of made that a point for yourself. Like
Absolutely.
I love that. That's cool.
There's no job that's, do I like doing cleaning the toilet? No, it's been a while. If it needs done, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, let's shift over then to like the, what does Christ have to do? Where, the book that you read, right? And so how did Christ in your Christian faith, how has that become part of how you operate here? Because you just went down the road of service.
Yeah.
And service, not unconditional service is kind of what I would say there. Not, well, I don't do that because it's not my job. So how does Christ play into that and has formed you over these years?
So you're right. The book I do start with in the morning is the Bible, and that's the perfect leadership manual. Christ leads, and he teaches us how to lead, and it's everywhere in there. And then, the challenge is living that out during the day. You come here and he says that we're supposed to love one another. And so how do I love the people that I work with? And recently I was challenged, a mentor, if you will, challenged me, and he says, Tim, just a question. Would your employees say that the benefits that they receive from Integrity Tool, are they in line with like how God loves them? It's like,
wow.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's not
That's
a
a
fair
deep question.
I want to pass on that one. Give me the next one. Yeah.
But we're called to love people, right?
Yeah.
Not just hire them so they can do a task for me, though that's part of it.
Sure.
But by all coming together and doing those tasks. But at the end of the day, I mean, again, we need to make money. But at the end of the day, do we completely measure our lives by how much money we make? And if we don't step back and look at, is there anything that's more important than that? Or how much success we have in our business?
Tim, you just got me thinking along that line of when you say love people, the idea that everybody feels valued, they feel important. And that's the love, right? That's the love. And the idea then that you have all these men and women out here that work for you, and they all bring a different personality.
Absolutely.
And they all bring a different gift set, tool set. And how you go, because I may not like a personality trait.
Yeah.
And that could rub me wrong enough that I disregard the value that person brings. Oh, I don't really care to be around that person. So fishing through that really has got me thinking like, wow, when they come into Integrity, they still better know that I value what they bring to the table.
Yeah. I've been guilty of judging people. One of my best friends, the first time I met him, he was sitting in front of me. I mean, I didn't know him at that point. And the first thought through my head was, dude, you should have combed your hair and got cleaned up before you came today. And little did I know that he was going to turn out to be one of a great friend. But again, my first thought was, I don't like you.
Right. Yeah. You're weird. You're a nerd.
Weird,
You're
yeah.
different. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That was just a big eye opener.
Yeah. That's good.
Um,
What does your faith have to do then with not just running Integrity Tool, but then operating at home? Because sometimes we go to as men, we go to our place where we feel strong, where we feel proficient.
Yeah.
And you might feel proficient here at Integrity Tool because it's in your gift set. But sometimes in the home setting, there's a lot of things that happen within a home setting that are not necessarily in my gift set.
Yeah.
Raising children, dealing with
Emotions.
emotions. Kyle gets a lot of female estrogen running through his home.
Yeah.
So how do you then take that same mindset and bring it into the home and to the marriage? I didn't want to
Tough questions, Tim.
I don't
Jeez,
want-
really tough
By the way,
questions.
Tessa's going to be watching
She
this.
will, I'm sure. Absolutely. Hi, dear. I love you. So we've been married 25 years this year. And man, we've had some tough spots. Part of that, though, the reason we got through that was just that agreement that we were going to get through it.
Yeah.
We said I do. And that was not just, there was no conditions to it. We're gonna make it work.
Yeah.
We made the decision, and then every day since then, and it's not all been easy. We've made that decision right.
Yeah.
I do. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not always easy, but yeah, it's probably the best. And at the end, being married to my wife for my entire life will be a bigger win than anything that happens here at Integrity Tool.
Yeah. Well, and the children that have come from
And the
that
children,
marriage
yeah.
and what then they are doing in their life and in their families and so on is all stems back from even way before you, what your parents did for you and so on. I mean, this is a generational, some people, refer to it as sometimes the curse, but it also can be the generational blessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to live underneath that blessing umbrella.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think as a guy, we have a tendency sometimes to, I'm guilty of it. Cross my arms. See, I got everything crossed here.
I'm guarded.
I'm guarded. I'm all guarded.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it comes easier to women, but as a guy, it's important to be part of a group. There's got to be other men around you who you allow to speak into your life, to call you out, to push you, to shape you, to help you when you need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To try to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, oh, I'm a great Christian. I get up and I read my Bible every day, but I don't have any association with other guys.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that God couldn't get you through it, but I don't think that's his idea. That's his plan.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks into, and it's kind of funny because when we were out in your shop talking about a mistake that happened, right? A piece of, this aluminum block didn't turn out the way we wanted to, right? Just like us as men, like sometimes we fail, right? It's having that accountability. You guys are measuring to the smallest degree of minute, detail. And then you take that into, put us in our work life, our family life, and we mess up. And we, a lot of times us men are hard on ourselves. And it's like, we think that we're just going to do this on our own. And it's like, wait a second, you have all these, these team members that you work with. You have a spouse at home, your kids, like everyone is there to, the cohesion to bring it together.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the saying we just talked about recently. What is it? That the leading cause of failure is mismanaged success. So when things are going well, if we mismanage that, if we take our wives for granted, if we neglect whatever, you're headed for failure. And on the other side, the leading cause of success is when things don't go well.
Yep.
You don't.
How you manage the failure.
Yeah, you don't pick up and run.
Yeah.
You don't bury your head in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to manage it well.
I love it.
Yeah.
Easy
You
said.
said that,
Right.
Easy
You just
said,
said
easy
that.
said.
Yeah.
But
Tim, I have a question that I'd like to ask just about every man that I work with when I'm in session and stuff, and that is, tell me your dad's story, meaning your dad relationship with you. Can you give me a little glimpse of what that looked like, good, bad, or indifferent, and what you took from that?
gosh, I was blessed. I grew up in a family where my parents are still 63 years married this year.
Wow.
I grew up in a family where I've never seen my dad, I've never seen him cuss or be drunk. I grew up in a family where I knew I was loved. I
Yeah.
knew I was loved.
Mm-hmm.
We learned to work hard, and we learned how to have fun while we did it.
Mm.
We learned the value of just, you're part of a family. It's not about you, it's about us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, my dad would be one of those guys that I'd say, I'm glad his fingerprint is on me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I asked that story because that is part, or asked for that story because, if us men don't recognize how we are imparting the fingerprint, is it a fingerprint of a blessing or a fingerprint of a curse?
Exactly.
And because it will be a fingerprint.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
And it is a decision that we have to be aware of and conscious of. And so in your case, you have been blessed.
yes.
Right. And so all the more responsibility that
Yeah.
you carry to put the same type of fingerprint
Yeah.
onto your kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to your point there, yes, I want to put my fingerprint onto my kids and onto my grandkids. There are those, and you can see it in their lives, who are missing that fingerprint,
Yeah.
and they're just missing that.
Yep.
Because there's something that we as dads have the ability to give that doesn't come from anywhere else, and that is just that knowing that you're loved,
Mm-hmm.
not because you did something, but just because you are.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that identity piece there that, yeah, I want my kids to know that.
Yeah. That's
That's
such
huge.
a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim, at the risk of embarrassing you,
Okay.
well, different words come to mind when you're working with different people.
Okay.
And I do want to just be honest and tell you that I have worked with you for a while on various things. And the one word that comes to mind that I've taken away from you is humility. I've never felt like you've tried to one up anybody or anything, that you're a very good student of taking in and just taking in the whatever the message is and whoever's delivering it. And so that humility is something that I just think that the heart for that has allowed you to be such a good student to listen to the next book or read the next book or take it in. And again, not everything you read, you become that.
No.
But I mean, you have to learn to filter, but you really allow other things to speak into you because you don't walk around with the I know it all attitude.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank you for that. It's definitely spoken to me. I know when somebody mentions Tim Schrank's name, I'm like, oh, that's just a good, solid dude there. In fact, I told Kyle those words. I said, Tim's just a solid dude.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time. Appreciate your message.
Yeah.
Guys, we appreciate just all you strong dads. And those of you who are, maybe you've had a negative cursing sort of fingerprint left on you. I get it, right? But fixing these failures or setbacks in our life is part of our job.
That's right.
And so I would challenge you today to say, all right, what fingerprint am I going to leave on the next generation? And even the fingerprint I'm going to leave on the next dude that I encounter, right?
Yeah.
And so Strong Dads is just about that. So we want to thank you guys for listening. Do us a favor, man. Share the show. Spread this word. This is the type of messaging that us guys, we need to be challenged by.
Yeah, we need
so
to
I want
hear
to
it.
thank you for
Cool.
that.
Yeah. What do you got, Tim? Last words for any dads out there, any men in the workplace, just in life in general, any parting wisdom?
Don't give up. Don't give up. No matter how big the challenge is, there is a way over, around, or through it. And on the other side, it's always good. Don't give up.
So good. I like it.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thanks so much, Tim.
I want to thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate
right.
it. Yeah, you guys, appreciate you guys listening. Tune in every other week. We're putting those new shows out there. Again, if you guys want us to come hang out with you and talk and pick your brain on what it's like to be a strong dad in the real world, just let us know. We'd love to come partner with you in that. So besides that, go out there and be some strong dads.
Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Casey's offers a wide selection of plants, landscaping materials, home and garden decor, and gifts for every occasion. Casey's is committed to providing exceptional service, a unique shopping experience, and value to every customer. Stop in and see what makes Casey's so unique. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or call 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home.